Nancy said she was going to take care of Matthew, but I think he's asleep already. Mom, you should see the place. It's just perfect. It's big enough for all of us.
You started unpacking it?
Yeah, Mitch stayed and helped me last night. We got everything unpacked. Now I just have to figure out where to put everything. I can't believe all the stuff I have.
Well, I guess we're all pack rats at heart.
Yeah, I guess so. I just don't know where it all comes from.
Is Mitch staying with you now?
No, I told you. He kept his place in the sporting lot.
That isn't what I asked you, Rachel. What I asked you was, is Mitch staying with you now?
Well, not exactly.
What does not exactly mean? He either exactly is or he isn't.
Well, he stayed last night, but that doesn't mean he's moving in.
I see.
Mom, it was a very special night last night. It was my first night in my new place and everything.
Rachel, be careful.
I'm trying to be.
Don't try to be careful until your divorce is final.
Well, Mom, it's not as though somebody's checking up on me or anything.
Yeah, well, you can't be too sure about that. Just watch yourself, okay?
Okay, I promise.
Good. Have you seen Amanda?
Oh, I was going to call Mac this morning and see if I could go over and see her.
The phone's right over there.
Well, look at that. So it is.
You're in a good mood today.
That's a terrific idea. Yes, I am. I feel real good. I've moved into my new place. I'm getting on with my life.
Well, I have to get on with my work, so if you're finished with your tea.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello, this is Rachel Cory. Is Mr. Cory in?
Mrs. Cory, no, Mr. Cory's not here. This is Sandy Alexander. Can I take a message?
Oh, Sandy, how are you?
Fine, just fine.
No message. I'll call him back later. Okay, bye.
Has anything happened?
No, I just sort of wonder why Sandy's over at the house.
Oh, well, maybe I can explain that.
Brian.
Yes?
Those are deep thoughts.
Oh, yes and no.
Well, what's bothering you?
Nothing, really.
Yeah? Then why are you drinking coffee that's been cold for over an hour?
That's a good question.
Like you want to tell me about it?
Well, I'm just concerned about Blaine's case. It'll work out, I'm sure. But I am concerned.
So am I.
I know. Perhaps too concerned.
I don't think...
Jerry, what I'm very concerned about is the fact that Zachary Colton is pressing to have the trial date set very soon.
But we need time to prepare.
Well, that's just it. I'm worried that we won't have enough time if the case comes up too soon.
I'm sure that we can do it. It's a pretty simple case of self-defense.
I'm sorry, Jerry, but I'm not as certain about that as you are. We may not have enough time, even though we believe in Blaine, to gather enough material to convince a jury. We are going to have to direct our efforts as efficiently as possible from now on.
Well, you know that I will do anything and everything that I can.
Well, I hope you do. Because if you or I don't, we could find ourselves and Blaine in a lot of trouble. And with that first-degree murder charge hanging over her head, Blaine could find herself in prison for the rest of her life.
Sandy, a long time ago, I suppose about 27 years now, I met a wonderful woman. Her name was Miriam Sanderson. We knew each other for a very short time, but we were immediately attracted to each other. I was very lonely then, and so was she. She'd lost a husband she loved very much. missing in action in Korea and presumed dead. I suspect now that her heart was still with him, but be that as it may, we became very close, even in that very short time. I thought I loved her very much.
She loved you, too.
When we discovered that she was pregnant, I was wildly excited. I wanted to get married immediately, but it never happened.
Why?
She disappeared. The very day that I went to her apartment together, we were going to the Justice of the Peace. She was gone. I never knew why. I never knew where. Searched for her for months. Tried to have her traced. Nothing. It was as if she just vanished from the face of the earth, as far as I was concerned. I thought about her constantly. I wondered what she was doing, how she was managing. I never even knew if the baby was born. I never knew if it was a boy or a girl. If I had a son or a daughter.
You had a son, Mr. Cory. Miriam Sanderson was my mother. Oh, Mr. Cory, I thought you'd already gone.
I didn't mean to startle you.
No, not at all. It's just that I didn't expect to see you, that's all.
I was out playing with Amanda in the garden, but I wanted to discuss something with you. I thought you might like to have a cup of coffee with me while we discussed.
Well, sure. Oh, listen, before I forget, Mrs. Cory called, but I'm afraid I told her you were already gone.
Oh, do you know what she wanted?
No, she didn't leave a message, but she did say that she would try and get in touch with you later on.
Oh, well, that's all right. Look like you're dressed for work.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Mr. Cory, that's something I wanted to talk to you about.
And now, the continuing story of Another World.
What are you talking about? I mean, why is Sandy at the house?
Mac knows that Sandy is his son.
Sandy promised me he wouldn't tell him. What did he do? Go right over there as soon as I finished talking to him
No,
and
would
tell
you
him everything?
calm
I can't
down?
believe
No,
this.
Sandy didn't go rushing
no?
over and tell Mac anything. No. He would have kept his promise to you if he could.
Well, he didn't keep his promise, not if Mac knows.
Will you stop long enough for... Then listen to me.
What?
Mac went to Sandy.
Mac went to Sandy why?
To find out if it was true or not.
Well, if Mac knows the truth, then who told him? If Sandy didn't tell him, then Cecile must have told him. But why would she tell him? She knows how important it is to Jamie to be heir to Cory Publishing.
Rachel, please.
What?
Cecile didn't tell him.
Well, then who did?
I told him.
Yes, Nellie. Oh, he is? Well, send him right in. It's Larry.
Morning.
Hello, Larry.
Hey, what's the name?
Zachary Colton is pushing for an early trial date. Now, that can hurt us. We need time to prepare the best defense we can.
I wonder what lit the fire under Zachary.
I don't know, but I'll tell you this. Zachary Colton is determined to bring this case into a courtroom as soon as he can.
Which means that we are going to have to get busy.
Well, that's an understatement.
And we can't underestimate our district attorney either. Well, if the election's coming up, he could possibly be going for a little grandstanding along the way.
Well, what do you suggest we do, then?
Well, I suggest that in order not to duplicate our efforts, that we divide them into preparation and investigation. Now, you, Larry, take, naturally enough, all police-related areas.
Right.
What about me?
Well, you can assist me with the defense preparation.
How much time do we have, Brian? I mean, when's this trial supposed to take place?
I'm not sure. But if I know Zachary Colton, and I do, we won't have to wait long to find out.
So there is something that I want to discuss. Well, perhaps discuss isn't exactly the right word. Request, perhaps.
Oh, what's that?
Well, in the light of our new knowledge, our new relationship, you really cannot go on calling me Mr. Cory.
Well, what would you like for me to call you?
Well, it would make me wonderfully happy if one day in the future you might eventually refer to me as Dad. But I suppose that's a little premature at the moment, so why don't you just call me Mac?
Well, I guess I can give it a try. I don't know how comfortable I'll be with that.
Oh, really? Well, why don't you try? After all, it is my name.
All right.
Try. Now.
Mac.
Right. Very good. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, there's another item I want to discuss.
Uh-huh, what's that?
Your safety. I've asked Brian to arrange to have a guard 24 hours a day for your protection.
Ah, well, that's something that I wanted to discuss with you.
Now, don't you give me an argument about the guards.
No, sir. Not at all. As a matter of fact, it's just that I've been doing a lot of thinking lately. And I realize that I don't really want to sit around the house all day long very much. I'd like to continue working if that's okay with you.
I don't see why we can't arrange something. Like, a car could pick you up here and then drive you back. And while you're in the complex, you will be relatively safe because we've got a full team of security guards there.
Oh, that's right, I know. Yeah.
They're on duty 24 hours a day. So what do you think?
Thank you very much. You know, I just don't think I could bear the thought of sitting around the house all day long. I mean, I've got to be doing something. You're working.
I quite understand. You got it.
Thank you. Oh, Mr.
Yeah.
Mac, there is one other thing.
What's that?
Well, it's something that's been bothering me a little.
Yeah?
Well, I've already told Jamie that I was leaving Bay City.
Mm-hmm.
How should I explain to him that I'm not? And more important, how should I explain to him that I'm living here?
Well, just tell him you're staying on due to your involvement in Blaine's trial.
And the house?
In the house? Well, because of your involvement with those underworld characters, I think it's safer for you here. I can better provide for your security here. After all, that's all the truth. A little truth never hurt anybody, did it?
Well, okay, I guess that's what I'll tell Jamie. I mean, I really don't want to have to lie to him, and I certainly don't want to do anything that would hurt him in any way.
I totally agree with you. I don't want to do anything that would hurt him either.
You told Mac?
Yes. I thought about it a lot first.
How could you do that?
I had good reasons.
Mom, don't you realize that now you are putting Jamie's future with Mac and the whole Cory complex in jeopardy?
I did this because of Jamie.
Just what did you hope to accomplish? Tell me that.
Too many people already know who Sandy is, and one of these days, Jamie is going to find out the truth.
Well, he certainly will now.
Well, the best way for Jamie to find out the truth is for Mac to tell him, so Mac had to know. It is the best way and the only way.
Mom, don't you realize that now Mac knows he has a real son, it's going to change his feelings about Jamie?
Oh, Rachel, give Mac more credit than that. For years, he's proved that he thinks of Jamie as his son. He even made him his heir.
That was before he knew he had a real son. Now everything's going to be different.
Nothing will be different. Mac will not change the way he feels about Jamie. He loves him, and he always will.
Yeah, well, I wish I could believe that. I think it's going to do more damage than you could possibly imagine.
I wish you could believe that I did the right thing for everybody.
Well, I don't. I disagree with you. I don't think you did the right thing at all.
Hello?
Hello, Brian.
Yes.
Hi, Zachary Colton here.
Ah, Mr. Colton, what can I do for you?
Well, I'm calling in regard to the Blaine Ewing case.
Yes, what about it?
Well, my feeling is this, that unless you have any reason to delay things, I'd like to see us get the case into the court docket as soon as possible. Now, I was hoping that we might be able to make that, say, a couple of weeks from now.
A couple of weeks?
Yeah, that puts it around 22nd of June.
I see.
It's not pushing you, is it?
Well, it certainly doesn't give me very much time.
Well, but, Brian, if this is, as you suggest, a simple case of self-defense, I mean, that is your contention, isn't it?
Yes?
Well, then I don't see that you're going to need a great deal of time to put together a case like that, do you?
Colton, I'll get back to you.
Okay, Brian. You do that.
Oh, Blaine, come in.
Hello, Brian.
How are you feeling today?
Not bad, I guess.
Can I get you some coffee?
Oh, no, thank you.
Come on, sit down. We got a lot to discuss. I'm working on your defense, and there's a number of questions I have to ask you. So I need the answers.
All right.
First, why don't we start with your past relationship with Jordan Scott? How did he treat you?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, how did he treat you? Did he ever suggest or threaten any bodily harm? Any sort of personal injury?
Yes, he did.
Such as?
He hit me. Beat me up.
He did. Did you tell anyone?
I told Melissa Needham once. I think Joey, Jerry suspected at least once. Mm-hmm. But I tried to cover it up.
Were these injuries obvious? Could they be seen?
Sometimes.
How did you explain them?
I said that I fell down. I bumped into things, you know.
Well, why didn't you tell anyone?
It wouldn't have done any good.
Well, why not? I mean, if someone knew about it, it may have prevented Jordan from hurting you again.
No, it wouldn't have. He would have done whatever he wanted anyway.
Oh, I see. Blaine, this next may be a little more difficult. Tell me, why did you go away with Jerry? Was it to get away from Jordan hurting you again?
Not exactly.
Then why?
To protect Jerry.
From Jordan Scott?
Yes. He would have killed Jerry if he'd found him. I had to get him away from here.
Would you explain that?
Jerry was convinced that Jordan was behind the bombing of Cory Publishing. So he went over to talk to Jordan. He was pretty upset. He took a gun.
Go on.
Jerry was also sure that Jordan had ordered his accident. That Jordan had tried to kill him.
Do you think he would have killed him?
Yes. That's why we ran. I had to get him away from here. After Jerry's accident, he was too weak. He was too sick to protect himself.
But you came back.
Yes, I did.
Well, why? What made you come back if you thought that Jordan would kill Jerry if he caught up with him?
I just did. It worked out.
But why, Blaine? What kind of a hold did Jordan have on you that made you come back and go back to him? And what made you think that Jerry would be safe now?
Excuse me, Brian. Do you think I could have a glass of water, please?
Yes, of course. Here you are.
Thank you.
Better?
Yeah, thank you.
You look a little tired, Blaine.
I guess I am. I'm not sleeping too much these days.
Well, I can understand that. Look, I'm going to let you go for today. But I want you to understand that you're going to answer a lot more questions before we go to trial.
All right.
And I mean everything.
Okay.
I'll be in touch with you.
Thank you.
Oh, hi, Blaine. How are you?
I'm okay, all things considered.
That's good.
What are you doing here at Brian's office?
Oh, just a little personal business.
Oh.
You look great as usual.
So do you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Listen, Blaine, is there anything I can do?
No, not really.
No, I mean anything.
No, thank you.
You know, Blaine, you took the time to offer your support when my mother was sent to prison. That meant a lot to me. And I want you to know that if you need anything, or anyone, I'm here.
Thank you. But...
No, I mean it. I mean, I don't know what I could do, but... even if you need someone to talk to, you know, just call me. Okay?
Thank you, Jamie. Really.
Rick, there you are. I've been looking for you.
Oh, glad you could come.
No problem. But I never thought I'd see the day when I'd be making house calls. And I only thought doctors did that, not lawyers.
Yeah, well, that's very funny. Looking at this schedule, I wonder how anybody can have time for in-house care, much less house calls. Look at this mess.
Well, it's great to me. I'm glad that's your problem.
It certainly is. Look, sit down. I wanted to talk to you about the Jordan Scott killing. I was out of town, you know, when it happened.
Well, yeah. What can I tell you?
Well, we can start with a weapon.
Well, it was a service revolver, .38 caliber.
Mm-hmm. And the wounds. Speak.
One in the stomach.
There's only one?
Well, yeah.
What was the time of shooting?
Well, he was shot at 8 o'clock.
And the time of death?
9.
You mean to tell me that he was shot at 8 and died at 9 from a .38 caliber slug in the abdomen?
Well, yeah, the coroner said that he bled to death.
And they're sure about those times?
Well, yeah, it was an approximate time, but I'm sure. Why? Is there something wrong?
I don't know.
Well, something must be in order for you to act like this.
Look, do you think I could see a copy of the police report?
I don't know why. Why don't you call Larry? He's on the case.
That's a good idea. You know, I heard about his undercover work. I always did have trouble thinking of Larry as anything but a cop, you know?
Rick, what is it? Now, something's bothering you.
Maybe nothing, but I want to see those reports, and as soon as possible.
It's Rachel Cory. It's good to hear your voice again, too. Oh, I'm just fine, thank you. And you? Wonderful. Oh, really? Congratulations. Well, I'll tell you the reason I'm calling. I just wanted to tell you that I'm back at work sculpting again. Yes, it has been a long time. Yes, I've missed it a lot. Well, right. That's why I'm calling. I think I could probably be ready for a showing in the not-too-distant future. Uh-huh. Well, good. Yeah, okay. Okay, I'll wait to hear from you then. Yes, I will. Good, thanks a lot. Yeah, bye-bye.
I'm sorry I'm interrupting.
No, I was just trying to get back on the phone. His line is busy.
Do you mind if I come in?
No, of course not. Come on in, Jerry.
Oh, the gallery looks really nice.
Thank you.
Do you mind if I touch?
No, of course not.
Oh, that's lovely. It's really very good.
Thank you.
Makes me want to get back to sculpting myself.
Well, why don't you?
Well, it's been a long time. I'm rusty.
Why don't you sign up for one of my courses that give you your confidence back?
Oh, that sounds like a good idea. I just might do that.
Good. Listen, Jerry, are you here for some specific reason? Because I've got to go wake Matthew up.
I just wanted to tell you that we are pushing up the divorce hearing as quickly as we can. I know you want it that way.
Good. I want to get it over with as soon as possible.
Well, it's on its way.
What are my chances?
Chances? What do you mean?
To get custody of Amanda, Jerry.
Well, they're pretty good. Actually, there's no way that Mac can prove that you're an unfit mother, and that's what he would have to do in order to keep Amanda from you.
Good. Well, that's good to hear.
But, Mrs. Cory.
Yes?
Well, I hate to bring it up, but in view of the question, maybe I'd better.
What?
Well, I think it would be to your advantage not to have any male guests, particularly overnight, until after the divorce is final.
Jerry, look, I'm doing the best I can on that. Short of moving into a convent, I don't know what else I can do about it. I'm not going to live my life in a glass bottle just to suit Mac. Is that clear?
It's clear. I just want you to see you get
well,
what
I just
you
wish
want.
everybody would stay off of my case on this.
What's wrong?
Nothing.
I mean, are you sure? I mean, if something's bothering you, maybe
Jerry,
I can
look, I'm
help.
sorry I've snapped at you, but I've got a lot on my mind right now.
Well, is there anything I can do?
No, I'm afraid not. Everything I have to do on my own. Thank you anyway.
Is anyone here, Doctor?
Sorry about that.
What are you doing? You're studying your days off, are you?
Are you kidding? Days off? You mean hours off? Do you realize I don't have a Sunday or a Saturday off in the next entire month? And if they have me on night shifts anymore, I'm not going to be able to open my eyes during the daylight. That's all there is to it.
That's too bad. But that is the life of a dedicated intern, so I'm told.
Russ.
Yes.
Jerry was in here earlier.
Mm-hmm. What did he want?
No, I asked him to come in.
Oh, I didn't know that lawyers made house calls.
You know, it's funny, he said the same thing.
That's a good line.
Yeah. Well, look, I was curious about the Jordan Scott killing, and I wanted to find out what I could about it.
Well, so what about it?
It just seems strange to me that he would be dead inside of an hour from a .38 caliber gunshot.
Well, what's so strange? It has happened before. That's what firearms do. They kill people.
Agreed, but the coroner said that he bled to death within an hour, and the nature of the wound, it seems very strange to me.
Uh-huh. Well, the whole thing may not matter at all if it was self-defense, and if Blaine can prove it, she will get off.
I know that, but did you know that there was no autopsy performed?
No, I didn't know that. But I'm sure that there are times when the coroner's office might choose not to do it, if the cause of death is evident.
Yeah, if it was.
Well, come on, sit down. Nellie, bring you a cup of coffee?
Oh, no, thanks, buddy.
Well, then, Jamie, what can I do for you?
Well, Brian, were you aware that on May 4th I was arrested for driving under the influence of an unknown chemical substance?
Yes, I was aware that happened.
And that I spent the night in jail?
Yeah. You know, when I first heard, I must admit, I was a bit surprised. Weren't you aware that had you called me, I could have arranged for your release much sooner?
Yes, I was, but at the time I just couldn't deal with anyone knowing. Can you understand that?
Yes, I think I can. When you are arraigned the next day? Huh?
Yes. And, well, I have to appear in court the day after tomorrow. And well, I'd like to ask if...
Jamie, would you like me to represent you in court? Is that it?
Yes. I didn't know if you would.
Well, why wouldn't I?
Well, now that you're representing Mom and not Mac in the divorce case,
Jamie,
I thought that...
what's happening with your parents in no way creates a reluctance on my part to handle any legal affairs that you might have. Now, you must know and understand that.
Yes, I guess I do now. Thank you, Brian.
Not at all. Jamie, when you were arraigned, what plea did you enter?
I didn't. I stood mute.
I see. And were the charges against you false?
No, I was using drugs and driving.
Was that likely to be a continuing problem?
No, it isn't. It happened, I admit it, but it won't happen again.
You can be sure.
Yes, I can. Brian, I think you should know that I wasn't using drugs just that one night. I was using them all the time. But I'm not anymore. I'm clean, I'm straight, and it won't happen again.
Jamie, I know you well enough to know that you mean it. Now, all we're going to have to do is convince the judge.
The role of Cecile Frame is now being played by Nancy Frangione.
Time, dear. I want to make sure.
Isn't it? We have work to do.
Oh, good morning, Rachel.
Rachel, what are you doing here?
Cecile.
I come to see Mac. Is he in?
Well, yes, he is, but he's busy. There's someone in the office right now.
So, you can get this typed up for me right away?
Well, yes, of course, but it's very little notice.
Well, Mac, I brought the papers.
The papers I asked you to draw up, removing Jamie as my heir and successor at Cory Publishing.
Yes, though I don't know or understand exactly why you wanted me to do that.
Well, it's really Jamie that wants it done.
Rachel?
Oh, I wonder what that was all about.
Yes, I wonder.
Do you think you should tell Jamie that Rachel was here? She seemed upset to leave like
No,
that.
no, I don't think so. Well, I don't want to upset him either, but I think I should talk to her and see if she's all right.
Although Jamie seems determined to be removed as my heir, I don't want to do that. Especially now. I want him to remain as my heir at Cory Publishing.
Well, Mac, what do you want me to do?
I want you to do absolutely nothing.
Nothing?
That's right.
Well, what if Jamie insists? You know he can be pretty single-minded when he wants to be.
Yes, I know he can. But I'll tell him I talked to you. I'll tell him you drew up the papers. We'll just let him assume that we've done as he requested.
But,
No. We just simply won't do anything about it.
So in reality, he will continue to be heir to the company.
That's right. I care too much for him. I can't do what he wants. No matter what happens in the future. I want Jamie as my heir here.
So how do you take this?
What?
Your coffee.
Oh, black is fine.
Okay. You find anything in there you think we can use?
I don't know. Is this accurate, this whole thing?
Well, I mean, you know, as near as we can figure, that's the official report. It's not open to the general public. Will you find some holes in it?
I don't know. I can't be sure. But I think something's wrong here.
Yeah, like what?
I don't know. At least not yet. I keep reading and expecting to find something, but I don't know what.
Well, you don't even know what you're looking for?
It's the time and the death thing. I don't know. Look, do you think I can take this with me?
Oh, well,
Look, I'll get it back to you as soon as possible. As soon as I'm finished.
Well, if you think there's something you can really get out of this.
I'm not sure. But maybe, Larry. Just maybe. You got a minute?
Sure, Rick, come on in.
How you doing?
I am up to my ears in paperwork. What else?
I can see. So I'm making a house call.
Well, how did you manage to work that schedule out?
Well, now, there's a will, there's a way.
Obviously. Look, did Larry show you the reports?
Yes, he did.
What is it? Something's bothering you.
Something is.
All right, what is it?
Can we have an autopsy run on Jordan Scott's body?
An autopsy?
Mm-hmm.
The body's already been buried.
I know, but there's a way to do this, right?
Well, sure, I could get an exhumation order, but maybe you had better tell me what's in your mind while you're asking this.
All right. From the times indicated and the nature of the wound, a .38 caliber gunshot wound to the abdomen, it doesn't sit well with me that he could have bled to death within an hour. There could be extenuating circumstances here that we don't know about because an autopsy was not performed.
Do you think he might have died from something else?
I don't know. I can't be sure. A lot of my questions would be answered, obviously, though, if we had an autopsy.
I'll get you the exhumation order and the autopsy. Good. Look, if there is a chance, any chance at all, that Jordan didn't die from that gunshot wound, then Blaine is in the clear.
Uh-huh.
If you think that an autopsy will prove that, you can bet your last dollar I'll get it.
Hey.
Sandy! Hey, wait a minute. What are you doing here?
Is that any way to greet a friend?
No, what I meant was, what are you doing here? I thought you were leaving town, or was I too bushed to hear you correctly? You know, that kind of, what are you doing here?
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, I understand. Totally.
Do you?
I think.
Okay.
Listen, you mind if I sit down?
No, have a seat.
Thanks.
It's good to see you.
Yeah.
Listen, if you're wondering whether I've filled your job yet, I haven't. I'm sorry.
No, this doesn't have anything to do with my job, except maybe indirectly.
Indirectly? What do you mean?
Yeah, well, see, I sort of wanted to inform you about something. Kind of let you in on it, you know?
Yeah, what?
Well, I know that you're aware of the role that I played in the runaway thing with Blaine and Jerry.
Yeah, I knew about that.
Right. Well, I'm not so sure that you're aware of my involvement in something else.
What?
Something referred to as the company.
The company? You mean the company that you said was headed by Jess Cooper and that now controls the entire dock projects, right?
Right, that company.
Well, I knew you weren't telling me everything when you told me about it.
Yeah.
But I figured if you didn't tell me or couldn't tell me, you must have had a good reason. So, well, I didn't want to know.
Listen, I appreciate that, too. I can't really tell you everything now, either. At least not yet. But, anyway, I ran away from some people. They were involved in some pretty illegal goings-on in Las Vegas, and, well, to put it in a nutshell, I'm on their hit list.
You're joking.
I'm not. I wish I was, but it's no joke. You know, I've been running and hiding and keeping out of sight as much as I can, but with Blaine's trial coming up, I'm afraid my hiding days are over.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like some huge searchlight is about to pick me out and light me up in center stage, you know?
Right. So that's why you were leaving town, to get away from these people.
Yeah.
But you didn't.
No, I didn't.
Why?
I was convinced not to.
By whom?
Mr. Cory.
Mac? Oh, that's terrific.
Yeah.
That is. I mean, wait, now, can he help you? I mean, is there anything he can do?
Well, he's offered to provide for my legal protection. That's one thing.
Well, that's great.
And,
What?
Well, he's also offered to let me stay at his house. I mean, he feels that he can provide for my physical protection there with security guards and so on.
Uh-huh.
It'd be pretty difficult to get in there, I imagine.
Well, sure, you're right about that.
So, what do you think?
What do you mean, what do I think?
What do you think?
I think it's terrific. I'm glad.
Are you sure? I mean, this doesn't, like, upset you or anything?
Upset me?
Yeah.
No. Sandy, you've been a good friend to me. I mean, I'd hate to see you go, and I'm glad Mac can be of some help. I mean, that may be selfish of me, but, you know, good friends aren't easy to come by. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Listen, Jamie. Thanks for everything, huh?
Hey, I haven't done anything.
Yeah.
Cecile, what are you doing here? I just saw you over at the office.
Well, Rachel, you looked upset. I came by to see if there was anything I could do. Liz was anxious for you as well. I mean, we saw you open the door to Mac's office, and then you suddenly turned around white as a sheet and ran out. Obviously, you're upset about something. What was it? What happened?
Apparently, Mac is going to honor Jamie's request. I heard him talking with Brian. He's going to honor Jamie's request and remove him as heir to Cory Publishing.
I don't believe it.
Well, I think you better get used to it.
Well, it's no wonder that you were upset.
I don't think Mac would have done this Not if it weren't for Sandy Alexander Cory, I guess I should say to you.
No, I guess not.
Cecile, I want to tell you something, and I want you to listen to me very carefully.
Yes, go ahead, I'm listening.
Jamie's going to need all of your love and support. The more he sees Mac drawing closer to Sandy, the more he's going to need you and me.
I agree, of course.
Jamie's had an awful lot of disappointments in his life. The worst one was when he lost his father. And then he transferred all of that affection to Mac, and now it's going to seem to him as though Mac is turning his back on him. It's going to be very difficult for him. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Oh, I do, Rachel. I really do. And let me tell you something, and I want you to believe me. It doesn't matter to me, one way or the other, if Jamie is the heir to Cory Publishing. I mean, I love him now, and I'll always love him, no matter what happens.
This has been a day and a half. I'm bushed.
Here, maybe this will make you feel better.
Oh, you bet it will. Thanks.
Okay, so come on, tell me, what else? What else?
Where was I? You sure don't want anything?
No, I don't want anything. Come on. All right, you told me that they might make the trial sooner, which was making Brian very worried because we might not have enough time.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why he called me in and asked me all those questions today, right?
Well, I guess so. Anyway, Rick called me and asked me to make a house call.
A house call?
Oh, that's an inside joke. Forget it. Rick wanted to ask me some questions about the killing. Now, I told him everything that I knew, but he wanted to see the official police report. So Larry got it for him, and Rick thinks that something is wrong. The next thing I knew, Rick is asking me to arrange for an autopsy on Jordan so he can check something out.
Jerry, this is making absolutely no sense to me. What could that possibly prove?
Don't you understand? If whatever Rick suspects is true, then Jordan couldn't have bled to death from that gunshot wound.
So?
So he might have died from something else, not the wound.
Jerry, what is it you're trying to tell me?
What I'm trying to tell you is that maybe you didn't kill Jordan Scott.
Join us each weekday at this time for the continuing story of Another Work.